Okay, so I want to look at this from my perspective. So if I can perhaps flip the board, because it's easier for me to explain my moves when I can see it from how I was looking at the board. Uh, Believe it or not, as so I'm gonna move my microphone because the place it's on can make a lot of sound. I apologize if me moving it was a little loud. So basically, I'm kind of proud of this game. It wasn't great. It wasn't my best game ever. It's 81% accuracy. But for a queenless middle game against your queen, I thought I did a pretty good job. And so I played with what I had, and I thought I did a decent job. So I was kind of proud of this game, even if I made mistakes here and there. Uh, so let me take a look at this game. You played d4, and I've been loving d4 recently. I was really thinking about the King's Indian, like before the game. Before the game, I did some opening practice and some puzzles just to get it down, just to make sure, like, I had something ready. I didn't do much against d4. Against d4, I had prepped playing d4 as white. I had not prepped what I would do as black. And as soon as we got this, which is obviously the starting position, I was really hoping you would play a Jobava London, which is obviously the opening I've asked you to help me out with, so that we could get something like this. And it's not because I know the Jobava London well, I would just like to play against it, because I like the Jobava London. But you didn't. You played d5. Sorry, you played c4. I played d5. You played c4. And I went into a normal Queen's Gambit, and here it says I should take, and I thought about this move, and I think about it every time, and I don't think I've ever actually made this move. But obviously the idea is takes, you do something like this. The computer was saying for some reason e5, which is apparently better, but I'm not completely sure why, other than I guess taking a little bit of space. But yeah, after takes, the more natural, normal move in this position is that, and then it says c5 for me, which is quite interesting. And basically, in this position, I'm not losing at all, but your pieces are all developed, and I have like seven, or I have like, yeah, seven of my eight pieces on the back rank. So that's quite an interesting position. But if I took you e6, and then I would have probably played something like this, which I guess is horrible. But we went into my favorite system. I don't know what it's called, what it would be called, or if it has a name. But I like going into this position a lot, and I've faced this move every time, or 90% of the time, and I've never quite known what to do. There are times where I play something like this, and then obviously if takes, I don't take with my knight because I'm afraid to, and then something like this, and then I've actually, I believe I've had this position multiple times. However, I didn't play that this time. Instead, I played a more risky move. I thought about this move, and I knew it probably wasn't good. I knew that I've never played it before. I've never played c5, and I've never played c5 because I've always either taken, I've either done this so I can castle, or even this to just put pressure on the knight, pinning it, and whatever happens after that happens. So I've been in all those positions many times, but I've never been in this position to my knowledge. And it was a blunder because I completely missed this move, which is winning on the spot. And I told you in the chat there's this queen a5 idea where I know you, going back, in this position you don't want to block with the knight because you just moved that out, and it's applying significant pressure here with this, this fork here. You don't want to move your bishop because it's what's helping the knight out against my queen. So you're gonna probably block with your pawn. I'm gonna take, and in this position, blocking with your queen, as you can see, just evens out the game. After that, I probably would have played this because there's no other defense, and then there's this. I go here, 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 and the computer wants us to repeat moves. And this position, frankly, is a draw. You likely would not have played it like a draw. I might have taken with my knight here. which I think is just as fine. No, it's not. I suppose it's equal, but regardless, it would have wanted a draw, so I missed a crucial line. And here, my queen is hanging after I take this pawn, which is quite interesting. They want you to fork, play a3, I push my queen back, and it's weird that a3 is what happens as opposed to taking my queen, and it's because this comes with check, you block, and now you're kind of in a little bit of trouble. It's odd to think that this position is better for black than if you play a3 and I just drop back and you take my rook. I find that to be really weird, but regardless, we obviously didn't go into that, and I debated this move for a really long time, and I knew it was definitely not the best move. I don't, that move, according to the stockfish, looks like it isn't any better. I don't think there's any better moves in this position. Just taking a look at it, there are definitely no better moves in the position. So, with that, actually, I was thinking about, yeah, this move is a little bit better. But the reason I didn't play this move is still because of check, but it is better than my other move. Anyway, what I played was d takes c4, and the reason for this move is very, very simple. I wanted to take a piece because I could. And that's not the best thought process, especially not in chess. And I didn't expect this move at all. I know you win my queen, as we saw in the game, you won my queen. But I was not expecting this because there is a very easy fork where you just win my piece. And yes, your knight is kind of not going out at any time because when I do this, I'm both guarding this square and hitting your bishop. So you're kind of in a little bit of a pickle here. And I guess you could play something like this if you really want to keep the control, not control, but the sight on this square. But that's still not good for you because if you were to ever move this knight out, take, and it's a little silly from there. So I was expecting all of that, but I was not expecting this. And it was very obvious why you played this move, and I calculated almost instantaneously for the first time in my life what would happen after. So I expected these moves, and I looked at this and I thought, you just lost 2 minor pieces for my queen. And yes, my queen is technically worth about 2.5 minor pieces. But it was very shocking to me, and I was really considering my possibilities of winning. Now, I wasn't sure I'd win at all because, comparing the R2 levels, you're a national master. I haven't played my first tournament yet. I wasn't confident I'd win in the first place. But I was very reassured when we reached this position because I was, very happy to see that, yes, I lost my queen, but I have the bishop pair, 2 knights, and I have both of my rooks still intact with the right to castle. So overall, I wasn't really upset. And you play this move, and I believe it was maybe to play this at some point is what I was thinking. I wasn't completely sure. But this move would have been devastating, e4, threatening the fork here, and my knight and my bishop kind of have no comfortable places to go except for backwards. But I castle, it's inaccurate, but I castle, and it's because, I just want my king to be safe. You play this move, and I only saw this happening right here. I didn't see anything else, and so I played the most natural move. And then you develop your bishop out, you get ready to castle, and they want me to develop my bishop. And it's probably because along the or down the road, there may be some threats on this knight or on this pawn if this knight were to move. But I didn't play that, and instead I moved my knight here. And my entire idea was a little inaccurate because of this. The best move was a6, just keeping this pawn chain, which does look a lot better once I see it on the board. However, I played this move completely with the intention of this, and I was kind of shocked when you let me do this, and I knew that trading this down wouldn't automatically put me in a winning position, but I knew it would make my position better. And this move, a6, severely weakening, not the worst move on the board, but severely weakening was a bit of a problem, and I was honestly debating which pieces to take here, and I knew this would be horrible. So thankfully, I took with the right piece. But I completely missed the opportunity to play this, which helps my pawn structure. It helps me basically now I have a passed pawn that may be trouble for you in the future, but I missed that and I played a6, which I thought was a lot easier. And after takes, you move your rook there, and the best move is to move my bishop here. But I really liked it looking at this diagonal, so instead I protect it with my knight. And I was really worried about this move once I saw it, because I knew that I'd have to sack the bishop. And it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's a bishop for a pawn and then a knight for a knight. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but I was really worried about it because if I just take here, you take my bishop, not that, you take my bishop, and now your rook is infiltrated. And it looks like you're in trouble, but frankly, you're completely free of any mess. So it could have led to some problems, and thankfully you attacked my bishop. You also stopped this fork, which is what I was aiming for mostly. And I moved my bishop out, and I saw this move, and I really liked it, but I thought this move was a little more concrete. But and I knew I'd be weakening this pawn, but I missed this move as a whole. So the main idea behind this move was now the knight doesn't really have any good places to move. Like this isn't a good spot because then it just has these two options and obviously can't go there. So that was my idea, but I weakened the pawn way too much, and now it allowed for way too much play. Thankfully, this is not the worst move in the position. I had this, which the evaluation actually says is worse, which is really interesting. But I counterattack your knight, and I should have taken. And I'm really upset I didn't, but I was thinking 2 pieces for 1 is really horrible. So instead, I traded a piece for a pawn, which is way worse of a trade. And here, they want me to do this, and maybe just allow you to take my piece, which would have ended in a disaster, certainly. But it's kind of weird how the evaluation works in games like this, where things are so dynamic and different, because I feel like it's almost inaccurate with its readings, because once I play the move, it's wrong. Or not wrong, but weird, and I imagine, from a human sense, even worse. Here, I trade rooks, and it's made 9 no matter what move I play, but I accelerated the process. And I didn't hang mate because there was mate, but I'm not too certain. Like, I definitely would see you playing this, but mate 9 is really hard, I find. Now, the game is lost after this point. I mean, I have a pawn that can, run away if it wants to, but I'm not winning this game. I did appreciate playing with you, and I would love to do this tomorrow and whenever you're free. I like doing these types of games, and hopefully I'll do better tomorrow if you do this tomorrow. That's the end of my analysis, and I will make sure to study up on the Queen's Gambit.